we're going to talk about how to recover quickly from an injury.
Okay.
We're also going to talk about how to lose belly fat, like an easy way to lose belly fat. Best exercises for men in their 20s and 30s. We're also going to talk about eating healthy on a budget, what supplements we should be taking, how many calories should I eat per day, and how to build muscle.
The video with Anwar.
Oh,
Almost 60 million views, guys.
Crazy all over.
Like, what is it, 58 million?
Yeah.
Please go check out that video. It's hilarious.
yeah.
Back at it, bro.
Hey, what up? What up, my peeps? What's going
We
on?
miss y'all, man. It's been way too long.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm excited, bro. It's been a minute. You hungry?
We've been doing.
You look like you're hungry.
I didn't eat lunch today, so I am really, really hungry.
You look like
right
you
now.
eat lunch like 3 times a day.
Bro, we can't all be 170 pounds like you. By the way, guys, just since you guys are watching, this is the first time in history that I've weighed more than AJ. AJ, how much do you weigh right now?
171. Well, that's in the morning without clothes. But let's just say I'm 175.
175. I'm about 210.
Yeah, but you're a lot of muscle too.
I'm
though.
about 40 pounds more than you.
been hitting, like,
I'm
you've
proud
been
of you, bro.
eating a lot of
That's the
protein.
most weight
Thanks,
you've ever.
bro.
Is that the lowest?
That's the lowest.
I think
mean, the last
195
time
was lowest.
I think I was like a sophomore in high school when I weighed 170
Really?
pounds. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I've changed my
Congratulations,
diet
by the way.
Thank you.
That's
brother.
amazing.
Appreciate you, man.
So for
Thank you.
anybody that doesn't believe they can do it, talk to AJ, bro. He's done it.
Definitely. We're gonna get into that on like.
We got a lot of topics to cover
belly
today.
fat. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of requests for about 7 topics, and I kind of wrote them down here so we can kind of go through it. So
Yeah.
the first, we're gonna talk about how to recover quickly from an injury.
Okay.
We're also going to talk about how to lose belly fat, like an easy way to lose belly fat. Best exercises for men in their 20s and 30s. We're also going to talk about eating healthy on a budget, what supplements we should be taking, how many calories should I eat per day, and how to build muscle. So
Yeah, these are kind
7
of like the most popular topics that you guys have requested. And so let's rock. Let's get into it.
I'm so excited.
What's the first topic?
So the first topic is how to recover quickly from an injury. And I think this is very important because we get a lot of that with our patients, ankle injuries,
Even with us,
knee
man.
injuries.
How many times we go to the gym and we're like, elbow hurts, shoulder hurts.
It's painful. It'll take you off track if you're being consistent, if you're doing
100%.
well in the gym. A lot of people become more sedentary, and it takes you off of that routine that you're normally in. And I figured this would be a great topic because there's a lot of misconceptions on ice packs, heating pads. You know what I'm saying?
When
What
do
to
I use ice? When do I use heat?
Exactly.
How long should I be out? When can I get back into the gym?
Exactly.
These are all crucial.
Well, you mention it a lot, which is RICE,
Yeah.
right? Which is rest, ice, compression, and elevation. You say that all the time, and I know we mentioned it before.
It seems so simple, right? But if you really think about it, every doctor you go to for an injury is going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's this is it Tylenol or is it ibuprofen? What can I take that's more natural supplements? And we both know very well with our patients with chronic kidney issues, GI issues, that
Avoid NSAIDs.
they should avoid ibuprofen,
Yeah.
Motrin, Advil, etc.
NSAIDs in general, guys. So NSAIDs are basically everything except Tylenol, right?
Yep.
Motrin, Advil, ibuprofen,
Aleve.
meloxicam, Aleve,
Yep, naproxen.
all of those. The reason we try to avoid it, guys, is the liver is just so much stronger than the kidneys.
Yep.
Like, even if you were to cut the liver, it can
Yeah.
regrow, right?
Exactly. So it
it's a lot
regenerates.
stronger. And
Yep.
those are both the organs that filter that, right? So the Tylenol filters through the liver, and ibuprofen and NSAIDs go to the kidneys.
Yep.
And
And
it's
that's why I should
so
avoid it.
common for people to have kidney injuries and chronic
Exactly.
kidney disease.
Or bleeding, like stomach bleeds, right?
Man, I've
it's
had
high.
people end up on dialysis for the amount of ibuprofen they took.
I believe it. And bro, you've had patients that have been taking it at least 1 or 2 a day for 20 years.
800
years.
milligrams.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And it's very high.
It works really well.
Yep.
The only problem is that the complications. Usually when you're younger, you don't have a problem, but just always make sure that your like kidney function is checked. Make sure you don't have
Exactly.
any gastric ulcers.
Yep.
There's a lot of, make sure you're not on blood thinners. There's people on aspirin,
Absolutely.
Plavix, Coumadin,
Contraindications.
all of that. So avoid those at all costs.
I agree. And then, so like going back to the rest, ice, compression, and elevation, I think the best idea would be to give an example of an injury. And let's take a knee injury or, an ankle injury. First thing you do is rest it, right? Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I mean, especially if like, when it comes to like knee, ankle, leg, if your body's telling you don't stand on it, don't stand on it.
Agree. But
You
the
know?
biggest problem is that patients, when you tell them to rest it, they sit there for
Yeah.
weeks and say, I can't move, can't touch it, which is the worst thing you could possibly do.
Why? You
Circulation.
need circulation.
Absolutely. So you stretch it. There's got to be some kind of physical therapy at a certain point. But the heat is the problem. When you have an injury, it's inflamed already, especially if it's an acute injury, right? You should not be putting a heating pad on that acute injury while it's inflamed.
It's already warm.
That's
yeah.
what you put is ice. Now, for heat example, I've always been taught that heat is for pain.
Yeah.
Right? But when it's inflamed, you need to avoid the heat.
Yeah, because it's on fire, right? So
Exactly.
you don't want to put fire on fire.
Exactly. So, like I said, rest, icing, compression, and elevation.
Can you tell them more specifically compression, guys? We're talking about wrapping it.
Yeah.
Keeping it as tight as possible.
Stable.
Honestly, AJ, the biggest things with ankle injuries is that people end up getting better. They stop wearing the ankle brace, and it takes one little twist, and it starts all over again.
Absolutely.
So when he's talking about compression, guys, keep that ankle brace, keep the knee brace, keep it tight to avoid anything getting loose and injuries happening.
Yep. If your doctor says, listen, you need to be avoiding strenuous activity for 6 weeks, if you feel better after 2 weeks, it doesn't mean you go full throttle.
Yeah.
At that second week. Or at
Don't
the end
go
of the second
squatting,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing is proper nutrition, right? Like natural anti-inflammatories like omega-3, for example. You should be taking that routinely because you'll heal a lot faster.
Turmeric.
Turmeric, that's a great natural anti-inflammatory.
It's amazing.
You know?
Yeah. It works really well. That's why people use something called golden milk.
Yeah, oh,
For
exactly.
those that have arthritis or have pain, look it up. Golden milk. It has some good ingredients in there that will really help you recover fast.
I agree. So now if you are having decreased range of motion, your pain is pretty severe, and you've tried all the home remedies, the rest and everything, you definitely need to talk to your doctor about physical therapy.
Yeah, I love physical therapy.
Physical therapy, extremely important.
in the
to help
right
circulation.
time.
Of course, because
you know,
if you start early,
exactly,
you're going to injure it more.
You're only
going
going to make it worse. And know your limitation.
Yep.
Right? Listen. I always say this. Listen to your body.
Yeah.
Right? There's a difference between a good burn and pain.
Yeah.
If I'm in the gym and my body's getting tired, that's a good burn.
Yep.
If I'm feeling severe pain, stop. Listen to your body.
Agree.
And you kind of have to have the all around, the good nutrition, the sleep. All of those play a factor in recovery.
100%.
Right? Circulation. The better the circulation, the quicker the recovery.
Exactly. That's why a lot of people recommend like warm-ups.
Yeah.
Like you reduce injuries just by warming up because you improve circulation. You see what I'm saying?
They
And
say
stretching.
warm-ups is better than stretching.
Absolutely.
Like get on a
Absolutely.
bike and just run a little bit, get the circulation going is
Yep.
actually better than stretching.
Exactly, reduces your injuries, and that's a lot of studies show that it reduces a lot of these injuries.
Cold
So,
plunges.
That's fantastic. Why? Because
I
of
love
the
cold
Like,
plunges.
just like
Yeah.
ice, right?
Yeah.
And if people have that availability, cold plunges are fantastic after a workout. You know.
The question that I always get asked, AJ, is do I do a cold plunge, then sauna, or do I do sauna, then cold plunge? And I feel like this is one of the most common questions that people ask.
I think that's controversial, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on your availability. If you have a sauna available, if you have cold plunges available, I think you should definitely use them, specifically if you're bodybuilders or weightlifters
Yeah.
that lift pretty heavy.
Always end with the cold
You
for
know?
me.
Yeah.
That's what works better for me.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do the sauna, then end it with the cold, right?
Yeah.
Because you're vasoconstricting. You don't want to vasodilate.
Yep. And
Now, some people might say something different. If you don't, please, guys, let us know in the comments. We're more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then rest, right? Sleep is very important. You
Yeah.
need to get your sleep. That's how you're going to recover so much better. And there's a lot of studies behind sleep and weight gain and increases your risk of injuries. There's so many things that come with people who have insomnia, who can't sleep. So again, acute injuries, you need to rest it, ice it, compress, and elevate. And what do they mean by elevation? Explain to them what they mean by elevation. Like,
So first thing people need to understand is that our circulation goes against resistance, right?
Yep.
So our leg
Gravity.
supply, exactly. So when we elevate our leg, we're getting that blood supply closer to where the injury is.
Yep.
And you want that blood supply coming up in order for the injury to recover a lot faster.
Yeah, it makes sense. So that's why this was a very hot topic that that we've been wanting to talk about. And have you had any crazy injuries in the office lately?
Honestly, the biggest thing is knees, right? So we see a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
And so we see these arthritis, and I think people don't understand. When you are working out, avoid lifting very heavy. I say that even though I lift heavy a lot of the times. I don't do it every day, right?
Yeah.
We see so many of these athletes, these bodybuilders, what do they end up with? Severe arthritis, knee replacements at a young age. And the biggest thing about knee replacements, you don't want to get a knee replacement at 45, 50.
Absolutely not.
Because they only last 10 to 15 years.
And then you got to
So that means at 65, you have to do it again. At 80, you have to do it again. And then you continuously have to replace that knee. I've had a guy that replaced it 4 times because he had his knee replacement at 40. So he's done it 4 times already.
That's insane.
And so like when you are lifting heavy, you got to understand that you're putting a lot of strain on the hips, on the knees, on the ankles. Long term, it's not good.
Yeah.
You want to push your body. You want to lift heavy, especially when you're younger, the 20s and 30s, what we talk about. But you don't want to go too heavy.
Yeah. But how do you know? Like, this has always been an issue for a lot of studies and a lot of people online would recommend, for example, that you don't do heavy lifting maybe once a week, where you go really, really hard. And they usually recommend 20 to 30% less than what the highest is.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. So I feel like the secret to working out is gradually going up.
Yeah.
Right. So like what I do is like, let's say we go to the gym, we grab the dumbbells. I start, let's say, with 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I wait 2 weeks, I go to 45. 2 weeks, I go to 50. Your body learns how to compensate. So like if you've never worked out and you go straight into the gym and you're trying to pull hundreds like the way we are, and you just started, you're going to get an injury. Your body's not used to that weight.
Absolutely.
So I always say go slow.
Yep.
Go up in weight every 2 weeks and slowly go up. And then you're going to be able to do it. Trust me. When I first started, I can barely put 35, 40s, and I'm putting hundreds easy now.
Crazy.
But it took me a long period of time of slow increase of 5 pounds every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and consistency, right?
Consistency,
yeah,
yeah.
100%. Would you recommend people to do more leg exercises than upper body?
You know I love legs.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, especially if you want your testosterone level to build,
Yeah.
you're going to get double the amount of testosterone working out legs than you are upper.
Yeah, for sure.
Believe it or not, every single time I've ever worked out, when I don't do legs, I plateau.
Yeah.
And for everybody watching, guys, you notice when you work out for a long period of time and you don't include legs, you plateau.
Yep.
You stop seeing the growth that you need. Add legs. So if you work out 5-6 days a week, do it twice. If
Yeah.
you do it 4 days a week, you can do it once.
Yeah.
Right? And so at least once a week, you must do legs. And when I'm talking about legs, I'm talking about leg press, squatting.
Yep. Extensions.
Squatting, again, if you have injuries, avoid it. Leg extension,
Yep.
flexions, Bulgarian
Hamstrings
split
and
squats,
stuff, yep.
all of those things.
Got it. Okay. So I think that'll kind of take us into our next topic. We're going to come back to like muscle building, but belly fat.
Oof.
How to lose belly fat. And I consider myself an expert in this because I
real.
lost a lot of
For
belly
real.
fat. And what I've realized is that there's really 2 different types of belly fat, which is the problem. The visceral fat, and then your regular belly fat that's on the outside. The belly fat that's really on the outside is not the dangerous one. The visceral fat really is
hard
the
to get
one
rid of.
get to the organs. It's harder to get rid of. It's quick to come back.
Yeah.
And of course, reducing that fat will reduce a lot of cholesterol, reducing plaquing of the arteries, etc. And by the way, this misconception of like crunches and ab workouts is complete bullshit. By the way, like it doesn't.
I see the guy at the gym.
It's
I didn't
not
want to
going to
make fun of
you
him.
lose
Like
belly
he had a
fat.
belly like this, and he didn't run. He didn't do nothing. All he did was abs. Your abs were. All of us have abs.
But Mo, if you look at the study, okay, listen, you might disagree with me on this one, but they actually they shown that cardio is really not how do you lose belly fat. It's the core.
Okay.
It's the core exercises that increase your heart rate, and no matter what, you have to be in a calorie deficit if you want to see it.
It's all diet.
Simple. as
Most
that.
of it is diet,
Yeah, you
actually.
can't be eating more than your daily intake of calories that you should be, and think that you're going to lose the belly fat. It's not going to happen. Calorie deficit, for example, if you are, let's say, 180 pounds, and a lot of people recommend, for example, that you do about 1,800 calorie
Yeah,
diet.
let's talk. So women, 1,600 to 2,400, what they recommend. Men,
Exactly.
2,000 to 3,000. But guys, everything is different. So
Yeah, well,
it depends.
we got to tell them why, right? Because it really depends on your lifestyle. Are you sedentary? Are you moderately active? Or are you extremely active?
Yeah.
For us, we exercise routinely, so you consume 1,800 calories, but you burned 500 calories.
Yeah.
Right? So already you're in a calorie deficit. So if you're in a calorie deficit, that's how you start losing that belly fat. That's how you can kind of start setting goals for yourself. But the secret is the more you lose weight, you have to recalculate the actual calorie count for you because
So
you lost weight.
you recommend always being in the deficit? If you're trying to lose weight. But like, I feel like for me, when I'm trying to build muscle, like being in the deficit really kills my muscle growth.
Well, you have to look at how much calories you're burning. When you're lifting all those weights,
Yeah.
you're burning a lot of calories. So if you are maintaining 2,000 calories a day, but you don't take into consideration sleeping, you lose calories, right? Exercising, lose calories, walking, stress.
I remember you told me you lose how much when you're sleeping?
Yeah,
I forgot
they estimate around 150 calories. It's not that much, 100 to 150 calories. But in general,
They're going to go sleep. Everybody's going to be like, I'm going to sleep 24 hours.
you have to be honest with yourself, right? You have to be honest with yourself because if you reached your goal, but you say, you know what, I want to only maintain 1,300 calories. For a grown-ass man like you, that's low. That is nothing.
210 pounds, bro. I need way more than that.
It's not feasible. You're gonna end up quitting after a week or two. What I recommend is if you want to lose weight and to maintain your weight, you need, let's say for example, 2,000 calories a day, and you're getting 2,000 calories. If you really want to lose weight, I would say go to 1,800, 200. Don't do 1,200.
Don't cut it big time.
Don't cut it big time.
You'll
do
feel
something
sick,
that's you're gonna be
too.
starving,
It's
and
not
then the weekend's
realistic.
gonna come and you're gonna binge.
I feel like that's the problem also with like the keto diet, right?
Yeah.
You lose the weight right away, but
you
the
gain it.
second you add the sugar and the carbs back in your diet, all that fat is back.
Within
And that's
2
what I've been
weeks.
seeing with Phentermine. I've been seeing that with Ozempic. I've been
Yep.
seeing it with Mounjaro.
Yep.
to
Wegovy.
Wegovy, all of them. Like, if you can get on those weight loss whatever that you're doing and stay consistent and stay on a good diet, you'll maintain it.
100%.
Exercise and diet, right?
Well, you said it like the Ozempic, the Phentermine. A lot of these, you know what the biggest problem is? You look at the majority of the people, they look sick.
Because they lose muscle mass.
Because they're malnourished. They're losing muscle mass.
Yeah,
they're
that's all
pale.
it
They're
is.
nauseated.
Have you ever seen the people that take the Ozempic that have the small legs?
Yes.
So there's literally a case study on this stuff.
Oh,
And
is it?
Yeah, they were talking about like there's a specific look for people that are on Ozempic. Their legs look a certain way because when people end up losing weight, muscle outweighs fat.
Yep.
It weighs more than fat, right?
Yep.
So the way you lose quick is you lose a lot of muscle mass.
Yep.
You do lose a little bit of fat, but way more muscle mass, and so you end up looking very cachectic,
Yep.
and like your legs are looking
Chronically
small,
ill.
Chronically ill. So I'm not the biggest fan. Now I
Yeah.
did give it to a patient that was 430 pounds the other day. I had no option.
Well,
It was
that's
a life or death.
Well, that's where, as a clinician, you need to calculate the risk versus the benefits,
100%.
right? Always calculate. It doesn't mean I'm completely against it, but if you are only 20 or 30 pounds overweight, you can do it so much better without the injections.
I had a patient
You know?
today. I just want to lose 13 pounds. Please give me. I'm like, no. And she's a naturopath.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's a naturopath asking me for Ozempic?
Yeah,
You're a
that's just
naturopath. That
ridiculous.
makes no sense.
No, man, the amount of pancreatitis I've seen on a lot of my patients, the malnourishment, the protein deficits,
Doesn't
I
make
mean,
sense.
it is just horrible. Now,
Take this to be nauseous. Yeah, no, thank you.
if you are overweight, like listen, excuse me, let me rephrase, not overweight, obese or morbidly obese, and you have risk factors, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, I don't mind using it in the patients for a few months.
Yeah.
Right? Just to reduce their risk
Any
a
one of
little
them,
bit. Any one of them, Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, whichever one you want, or tizapatide, which is the generic.
Phentermine, you got to make sure you don't have a cardiac history. so
Exactly, or
that's so
hypertension,
riskful.
you
Yeah.
got to monitor blood pressure, etc. But it really just depends on the patient, honestly. So yeah, so like belly fat, starches.
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 It's a big thing. I always say this. When you combine sugar and carbs, that goes straight into belly fat.
100%.
They're the worst two friends together.
Fact.
So what do people always do? Pasta, a cannoli.
Yep.
Rice,
It's like-
and this.
Yeah,
So there's
ice cream.
always a carb and then a sugar. We all love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You love that.
Yep.
But that's the hardest way to get rid of that belly fat.
I agree. So first things first is diet.
Yep.
Second thing is, remember we talked about high intensity training. Trust me, core exercises. You sit there, they did tons of studies on people getting on the treadmill for 45 minutes. Now, I'm not saying, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you running or walking is not good for you. No, it's the opposite. It's great. But I'm saying that the studies show that core exercises, higher intensity training exercises, 15, 20 minutes is better than an hour on the treadmill walking.
You've done it, so you know. Like, I like Stairmaster. Stairmaster works great for me.
Yeah, but you like it because it works on your legs.
Yeah, I like
That's
to have
why.
big legs.
Because leg exercises, it builds your muscle, increases your testosterone naturally. Yeah. So you feel better. You feel strong.
I feel amazing
for sure.
That.
For sure.
Also, like, one of the things that people don't take into consideration is we talked about is sleep.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when you don't sleep, you're not productive in the gym. When you're not productive in the gym, you're not eating right. When you're not eating right, it's a bad domino effect. Well, we always talk about that. So try to perfect. I listen to you, bro. I took the magnesium glycinate, and it's been great for me.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Please talk to your doctor first. That's not what we're recommending, but we both tried magnesium glycinate, and it's worked great for us. And we're sleeping amazing.
That's one of the supplements that we're going to talk about in a little bit, about what supplements you should be taking. And remember, a lot of this is just pure recommendation. This is not something that you have to take. This is something that I recommend. But anyway, going back, you said about sleep. They did a study on, I think it was a total of 40 people. They did 20 and 20, separated them. One group slept average of 4.5 hours. The other group slept an average of 8.5 hours. They realized a 20% increase in weight, fatigue in the patients that are not sleeping, and they struggled a lot more to lose the weight compared to the people who slept very well. So hard. This is evidence-based. I mean,
and consistency.
That is
AJ, right? Like,
number
that's
one.
The one thing that me and you talk about. You always told me my biggest problem is that I rather you sleep at 1 a.m. every day, and let's say you sleep at 1 a.m. and you wake up at 9 a.m. every day.
Every day.
I rather you do that than sleep at 1 a.m. one night, then 8 p.m. the next, then 3 a.m. the next. Stay consistent. Your body is gonna get used to that circadian rhythm. It's very crucial to understand circadian rhythm.
Absolutely, and the sleep cycle. So it's all sleep hygiene. Just like personal hygiene, you need good sleep hygiene.
We all have that problem, but we're working on it.
Yeah, but see, it really also depends on your job. It depends on your stress. It depends on your family. But REM sleep, I don't recommend long naps because of REM sleep. You need to avoid taking long naps, because if you're activating REM and you wake up while you're in REM, you feel more exhausted, you feel 100%. More tired, and that's where the complications.
It takes 45 minutes to get to REM.
Yep.
So if you're asleep for 1 hour, you're gonna wake up cranky because you only got 15 minutes into REM.
I agree.
That's the worst. If you're gonna take a nap, this is my suggestion to you guys. If you're gonna take a nap, take a 20-minute nap.
Yep.
Because once you get into 1 hour, you just cut off REM in the middle of it.
Yep.
You're gonna feel horrible.
You're gonna feel exhausted. So moving on, the next topic, which is, you're the expert in this one, which is exercises for men in their 20s and 30s. Which ones you recommend? And I know you love leg exercises, but which leg exercises would you recommend specifically for guys in their 20s and 30s to increase testosterone, boost their immune system, feel better?
So the first thing I always tell people is choose something you love.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you always tell people is that you don't need to lift weights.
Agree.
Weights isn't the thing for everybody.
Yep.
If you like pickleball, do pickleball. If you like basketball, play basketball. First thing you need to do is find something you love. Because if you work out and you don't love it, it's not going to last.
Amen.
I'm not trying to get you buff for a vacation in a month.
You're right.
I need it long term, right? Yeah. But if we're talking about lifting, right? And one of the things that you love is just what? Jumping jacks.
Yep. I love the core exercises.
Core exercises.
Yep.
And when you're in the 20s and 30s, you kind of want to take advantage of the fact that you're still young, you still want to lift heavy, you still want to do these things. So you can still push your body, but just know your limits and listen to your body when it's telling you to stop. So some things that I always do, like I split them up, right? I do push day, okay, and then I do pull day.
Do you mind me asking what you mean by push day?
Okay, so when I do push day, I do all the things that you push. Chest,
got it.
Shoulder, tries.
Got it.
So I usually put those three categories together. So I do chest, shoulders, and tries, and then the next time I do chest, shoulders, and tries, I do a completely different set of chest, shoulders, and tries. And then on a pull day, when you pull, I'm working out back and
biceps. Yep.
So I do that on the next, and on the third day I do legs. One thing that people tend to skip on a lot is hip thrust.
Yeah.
I love hip thrust. Like a lot of like wrestlers and stuff like that, they work on it because they need them hips. I feel like my core has gotten so much stronger. My legs have gotten so much stronger from doing hip thrusts, doing Bulgarian split squats, doing leg presses, doing these things. There's all these new machines that you see. Take advantage of them.
Yeah. What about like flexibility exercises or cardio? Like,
everyone's
do you
into
recommend
yoga.
it? Yeah, like yoga, planks.
Every time I do it with you, we do planks, jumping jacks.
yoga. We do sit-ups.
jump ropes.
Yeah, the jump rope
sit-ups.
is really good, but you got to be careful with like knee injuries and ankle injuries.
Yeah.
But you're right. So basically, you divide into 3 categories. You would say more lifting, cardio, and flexibility.
You have to
right?
do cardio. I do it. So what my theory is, everyone's going to argue this, but if you are trying to lose weight, I say end your workout with the cardio.
Yep.
If you are trying to bulk, do the cardio before the workout. Now, everybody always tells you, always do cardio at the end. What I say is do 10 minutes on a bike. I love the bike, man.
Just for circulation purposes, to warm up.
Even for our elderly patients, I've made every single one of my patients buy a bike.
Good.
And they love
Needed.
it, and it's changed their life. So do 10 minutes on the bike, stretch a little bit, and then jump into your workouts and end it with a good amount of cardio, because when you go home and you're sweating, I love that feeling. So I like doing cardio after and then getting the sauna, and that sweat when you drive home just feels so accomplished.
Yeah. And I think we can go back and talk about a little bit of nutrition when it comes to a lot of these exercises, because I've had a lot of patients who are on a fixed income. So this next topic is how to diet on a budget.
That's a tough one.
It is a very tough one, especially in this economy, especially with all the price spikes. The elections coming up, everybody's heated.
Man, the economy's horrible. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to afford food.
I'm going to give you the best example what I've been doing, and because I'm on a budget too for personal reasons, as you know, is let's take fruits for example, right? I love fruits. Do you like fruits?
Yeah, here, you want some?
I love fruits. Yeah, we'll have some a little bit.
Okay.
Blueberries. You ever been to Publix and get that little box of blueberries?
Yeah, $6.
$6, $5.99 with tax, $6.34 or something like that.
That's insane,
right? It's ridiculous.
And I eat them in one sitting.
And sometimes, you forgot it's in there. It turns all mushy and nasty. It's
and I have 3 of them. And now it's $20.
What I've been doing now is I go to, let's say the bigger department stores. We don't have to mention any of them, but the bigger department stores, Sam's Club, Walmart. I get the frozen blueberries.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that.
Frozen. It'll last forever in the freezer. It is, so the 1 ounce or the 2 ounces of blueberries is $6. You can get a 7 ounce or the big one for like $7.
What?
Yeah, the big one. And then what you do is you keep it in the freezer. Now, when you're ready to eat some of it, you'll take it out. Just have a warm water bowl.
Just put it in it.
Just put it in there. Let it sit in there for a minute.
That's
actually
a good
now
idea.
they're fresh blueberries. And you could do that for all other fruits. Tons of fruits. Strawberries, raspberries.
I literally buy them this is so expensive.
It's expensive. It's ridiculous. So that is one thing that I recommend. Seasonal foods that come in season, try not to wait until they're out of season to get them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Whether they're oranges, whether they're,
you're talking about fruits.
I'm talking about fruits, and that's something that we've been kind of looking into. Another one would be is cooking at home.
Meal preps for everything is good.
What do you meal prep?
So and we used to do this together, right? We would get chicken breast, salmon. I don't do too much red meat, but if I'll do it, I'll do it once a week.
Yeah.
And I either air fry them or I put it on the grill.
Now, do you get them in bulk? Do you go to
Bulk.
you
go to Sam's and
get the big one.
Or even Aldi's. I'm not trying to put names, but Aldi's so cheap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right.
So you buy a big pack of them, okay? And then you organize them. Let's say you eat 2 meals a day. You eat breakfast at home. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, until you feel like you can't eat them anymore, and you meal prep them.
Nice.
Most people, Wendy's costs $12.
Yeah, it's crazy.
McDonald's is like $12.
Absolutely crazy.
So,
and you don't know what they're
I
putting in
can't
it.
afford it. Well, guess what? You just paid $13 for a lunch at Wendy's.
Yep.
You could have gotten 3 meals,
100%.
$5 each, and meal prepped it, and then that way you don't cheat and you don't have junk.
I agree.
The biggest thing I always say, and I have a struggle with this, so whoever's watching, I know you're going to talk crap, but taking out the unhealthy foods in your house.
Yeah.
Because if I had a choice between a carrot or a muffin, I'm going to eat the muffin. So try not to even have it in the house.
Agree.
Which I can't do.
And don't go shopping hungry.
Yeah. Definitely don't go shopping hungry or during Ramadan.
Oh, for sure. So remember, buy in bulk. Frozen fruits and vegetables too, by the way.
Yeah.
You can get frozen vegetables too. So you get frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, and
preps.
use the warm water. Meal preps is a great idea, and then cook at home.
Yep.
So that's what I would recommend for people on a budget, and try not to eat so much outdoors. So
and try to avoid eating after a certain time, right? So we all work late. That's why meal prep is so important, right? You say, well, I get home at 8 o'clock. Well, if you had your meal prep,
And
you would have ate it at 5 p.m. and not have to worry about waiting till nighttime and
Agreed.
rushing it.
Agree.
And avoid fast food, guys, because sometimes it's so hard to even do the training if you're eating bad.
Yeah, I agree. So now going on to our next topic, which we covered actually a lot of it, which is how many calories do we normally intake? And then a lot of remember, the recommendations, it really depends on the size, your height, your weight. But for men and women are different. For women, typically we recommend 1,800 to about 2,200 calories a day. For men, 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. And that's without your exercise intake, without, cheating, snacks, sleeping well, etc. There's so many things behind it.
Other factors, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to, if you're not consistent, nothing's going to work. Simple as that.
And it takes time to adjust.
Yeah, it does. Our next topic is probably a controversial one a little bit, which is supplements. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to let you talk about what your recommendation is, if you don't mind.
No, please. I would love to.
I personally believe that this country is crazy fanatics about supplements.
Too much.
Ridiculous. And you have to understand, bro, all these supplements, if they're not FDA approved, that means it's some dude like me and you, Mo Schmo, sat down, cut up some beans or whatever the hell they cut it up, put them in capsules and says, hey, listen, I've been taking this, my headaches are gone,
great.
and I lost 40 pounds.
Just get a guy with a six-pack and a big chest.
Yeah, and you see how they advertise it, right? Are you depressed? Weight loss. How to lose belly fat within 10 days.
You can't focus.
Boom.
They don't tell you, are you sleeping? Are you eating right
exactly,
now? You can't
nothing.
focus?
Oh,
take
boom,
this pill.
This.
All of a sudden,
you
you're
feel like
Einstein.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And the
Overdone
amount
it.
of supplements on these damn counters are just insane.
You don't know what to choose. My patients go and they're like, what do I take?
Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. But I'm going to give you mine.
Yeah.
And then you give me yours.
Absolutely.
And let me know if you agree with me. First thing what I recommend personally is vitamin D. Everybody.
I know you love D.
Yeah,
I know you love the D.
Everybody should be on vitamin D. I don't think we get enough of it either in our diets, and a lot of them are deficient. A lot of people
I thought you get a lot of D.
misdiagnosed. No, you're the one that gets a lot of D.
Sorry.
Yeah, I give my patients. Oh no, that's
Whoa,
sounded wrong.
whoa,
That sounded
whoa,
wrong.
whoa,
That sounded
whoa.
wrong. Remix. Take that out.
Take that out.
I don't give my patients any D.
Yeah. Vitamin D.
So that should be a good blooper, right?
Yeah.
That should be a good blooper. But I prescribe a lot of vitamin D, and I tell them to get it over the counter, of course. 2,000 units daily, up to 5,000 units daily, depending. So vitamin D. Second is magnesium.
I think magnesium glycinate. Right?
No, yeah, but exactly
sleep.
that one. But then remember, there's different types of magnesium. There's the slow-releasing magnesium, and then you got magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate, magnesium sulfate, glycinate. There's so many factors. It just really depends on what you need it for. If you're the person that struggles with sleep, glycinate. If you have GI issues, magnesium citrate, right? Cramping, magnesium sulfate. So there's
constipation,
exactly, or breathing issues. A lot of people with breathing issues, magnesium. We get magnesium in the hospital. It helps. So magnesium, vitamin D. Now going to B complex vitamins, I think this is more of a bigger topic that we need to go into because there's a lot of things that you need to take into consideration, but it's complete bullshit. I think that prenatal vitamins for if you're considering pregnancy or you are pregnant,
must. Okay.
Now, if you are deficient in any vitamin, fine, replace it. But if you're not deficient, you're literally just peeing it out.
Agreed.
Right? And the last one I recommend personally is turmeric.
What about fish oil?
You know what? I apologize. You're right. I do like fish oil. It's great for brain. It's great for...
Just the capsules are so big,
They're
dude.
humongous.
Oh
They're
God.
humongous. But I agree with fish oil.
You don't have gag reflex, so it's easy. For me, it's so difficult.
It's difficult? You have a gag reflex?
Sorry, I try to sneak it in there.
A little bitch.
Oh, sorry, guys.
It's okay. I
It's
don't
been
have
a
to
while.
apologize. They know how dirty you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and those are the ones that I typically recommend. What about you? Is there anything that you'd like to add?
I want to talk about, I do the same thing, but this is so important, guys. Please, 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 please. If you are an alcoholic or you drink excessively, folic acid and thiamine.
Yeah.
It is an absolute must.
Perfect. 100
Those
milligrams.
are no question.
I
If
agree.
you are an alcoholic and you drink a lot of alcohol, you need folic acid and thiamine. Get those things, okay?
What about a person that's just completely healthy?
Vitamin D, magnesium glycinate. Are we talking about supplements like creatine? And
Okay, so that's a good one
protein?
because a lot of people talking about you're a weightlifter. I'm talking about, let's say, a 25-year-old male patient, extremely healthy, No problems.
Drinks plenty of fluids, because you can't take creatine without drinking water.
I don't think
You have
any
to.
patient is perfect. I agree. I don't think any patient is perfect. But let's say this person exercises 4 times a week, routinely, consistently, eats pretty well, cheats sometimes, but labs are perfect. What would you recommend for him?
There's so many things that they talk about, like nowadays, nitric oxide and all of these things. I just feel like our body is going to excrete it anyway. Anything you have too much of, it's going to get rid of. So you take a whole bunch of supplements, you spend all this money, your body doesn't take it.
Yeah.
So
You're
I think going outside, being grounded, walking in the grass with your barefoot, getting sun, vitamin D, proper diet, everything that you can get from a diet.
Agree.
Think about back in the day, they didn't have vitamins.
Yeah.
Those guys were surviving perfectly fine. How?
I agree.
Right? And so they were it comes from the food. And one of the things, the biggest thing I recommend, guys, is maybe having a small garden.
Yeah.
Look at my parents.
Yeah.
They have all their vegetables, all their fruits, everything. It's honestly might be expensive in the beginning, but in the long run, it saves you money.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, sticking to the supplements. If you're going to do creatine, just make sure. So like I did it for a little bit. I haven't done it in months because I broke out. I had a lot of acne.
Yeah.
And, they say it's not a side effect, but it happened with me. So I stopped it. It went away.
Do you think it's healthy for patients in their 60s?
No.
No?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It'll cause renal failure if
Okay.
you don't hydrate properly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And even if you're in the 20s and 30s, I think 5 is sufficient. Don't go more than 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
5 is the right number. You go to 10 is too much. You go under. Now, people are always talking about load in the first week. You should be taking 10 for the whole week and then go to 5.
I've heard patients reach up to 30 sometimes, young patients.
Never.
Never,
I
right?
would never recommend that.
Yeah.
I actually had a patient on dialysis, not just from that. He did a whole bunch of growth hormone, testosterone, a whole bunch of other things. He was a bodybuilder. But I would say start off with 5 and then make sure you drink at least a gallon. I say like have a gallon to a gallon. I drink a gallon
of water.
When I drink a gallon of water,
Yeah.
I feel great. My body feels good. I don't feel dehydrated. I'm not peeing out. I'm not pushing my kidneys because you don't want to push the kidneys.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't want them to overwork. So another one that I was reading about, and this was a little bit more controversial also, was vitamin C. It's just how our body naturally gets rid of it, and we really don't make it.
Only when you're sick.
Yeah. So well, see, that's what issue. Like a lot of people would recommend like a slow release vitamin C every day to prevent you from being sick.
Yeah.
Is this something you recommend?
No.
No? Why not? You just don't think it's necessary?
Oranges,
Yeah.
and all you get your vitamin C from so many things.
I got you.
And then
Okay.
some people, when you overtake it, you get calcium oxalate stones. You end up with a kidney stone, and it's just
or GI
sometimes
issues, right?
GI
Like, yep.
issues.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think there's so many other things that you can focus on regarding like diet, sleep, exercise, better than taking a supplement.
Got you.
So if you do everything, you sleep great, you eat well, and you exercise, then consider supplements.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because you're pushing your body and you need those extra supplements. If you are just sitting at home, not doing crap, and you have a ton of vitamins, why?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the need for it?
Yeah, that's actually a great recommendation. So we've covered that. We have talked about building muscle. Is there anything that you wanted to add with building muscle? Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to flex.
You actually, dude,
lost
you're
all
doing
the
better
weight.
than me. You're a lot less than me.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try to bulk
Bulk
up
up?
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to bulk up, but I'm afraid of gaining the weight because I'm so excited. All my pants fit
I
better
feel like it's
and my
almost
shirts fit better.
impossible to bulk in the beginning without gaining weight and
Yeah.
looking like round
Yeah,
and looking
yeah.
kind of overweight.
Yeah.
There's no way unless you're on steroids.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
why you ever
You're
see
right.
those guys? They get big and they have a 6-pack. You're
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
how?
how?
No, dude, they
It's
get like there's
insane.
you know how hard it is to get huge and have a 6-pack. It's like you either bulk up and you got a
Yeah.
belly, or you skinny down and got abs but you got no muscle. And
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
They're gonna argue that, but guys, unless you're taking a whole bunch of supplements and a whole bunch of things to help you, naturally your body, when you bulk, you gain weight. When you shred and you're cutting, you lose weight.
Yeah, agree.
AJ, one thing I wanted to talk about is the video with Anwar.
Oh,
Almost 60 million views, guys.
Crazy all
Like,
over.
what is it, 58 million?
Yeah.
Please go check out that video. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the concept. What made you think about something like that?
So to be honest,
Because I feel like that was our viral video.
yeah, it did help
bad
us.
I'm not in it, but thank you, though.
And first of all, I'd like to thank Anwar
And Cliff.
and Cliff Cisneros. And so what happened was with my significant other, we were going to California to meet some family members of her son. And I called Anwar. I said, hey, listen, I've been thinking about doing this Gen Z video for a very long time. And I called in and I'm like, listen, so I wanted to do a video where you walk in as as a patient or as a doctor, and the patient is a Gen Z patient or a Gen Alpha patient, and you have no idea what they're saying. So you ask for a translator.
Yeah.
Right? And knowing Anwar, he's just like a fucking genius. The way he thinks with his skits. I mean, he's just so smart. He's like, listen, this is exactly what he said. He said, I would tell you if I don't like the idea. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I love the idea. He's like, don't worry. Come, bring the things that you want to say. What do you want to talk about? Bring your white coat, and I'll do the rest. I'm like, perfect. I got there. This guy's got a whole room full hospital bed.
He's amazing.
Crazy. It was crazy.
He's unbelievable. That guy's the most talented human being ever.
He is funny. But can I say something also on top of that? I'm going to be completely honest with you. Cliff was a G, man. Cliff was so good.
He's so talented.
I mean, Anwar is a beast. We know that. Anwar is just amazing.
Cliff is a genius.
But Cliff,
he's so
Cliff
underrated.
He's up and coming. Cliff Cisneros is so underrated.
He should have been a superstar already.
Bro,
he is unbelievable.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I love that
He is
dude.
one of the funniest guys I've met. I love how down to earth he is. I love how
super smart too. Golly.
He is so smart.
That whole circle, Hannah, King Batch, Anwar, Cliff, they're all very smart.
So smart.
People think that like those guys are like dumb. They're smart as shit, bro. They're like these people could have been. They're
talented.
Very talented.
They're very talented.
And I just wanted to talk about the growth with our skits and stuff like that. I think we went with a different route. You wanted to kind of try the skit route. We wanted to do that in the beginning. It just wasn't the right time. It worked out really well. So thank you guys so much for following us, helping us grow on YouTube. And if you're not subscribing on YouTube, please subscribe. We're almost at 20K. Thank you for that. Almost at 20K on Instagram. TikTok we're working on. But
long story.
Facebook also, it's kind of slow. But please, if you haven't followed, give us a follow. We appreciate it.
Exactly. And you know what? For all those people who are interested in collaborating, if you guys have any ideas, if you have products or anything that you want to even talk, let's get on a call. Let's get on a call. Shoot us an email. Send us a direct message. We'd love to sit down and talk. And a lot of big things are coming.
Big things.
Yeah,
we
man.
appreciate you guys. We love y'all.
Thank
and stay tuned.
God bless. Thanks.